finding the equation when you are given 2 points. We're going to look at 6 through 10. The first thing you do is you find the slope. When you find the slope between 2 points, it is y minus y over x minus x. And the reason we say y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 is so that you know whichever ordered pair, whichever y you pick first, that is the same x that you have to pick first as well. These should line up as an ordered pair from bottom to top. So for number 6, I'm going to pick 8 minus 2 over negative 1 minus 3. Changing y over changing x. 8 minus 2 is 6. Negative 1 minus 3 is negative 4. 2 will go to both of these numbers, so this simplifies to being negative 3 halves. That is my slope. So when I plug these into y equals mx plus b, I do not know what my y-intercept is. So I'm going to pick a point and plug it in with the slope. Does not matter which point you use. I'm going to pick 3, 2. 2 is the y, so 2 equals negative 3 halves times 3 is the x, and I'm looking for b. Negative 3 halves times 3 is negative 9 halves. When I add 2 plus 9 halves, I need to turn 2 into a fraction that has the same denominator as negative 9 halves. So that's going to be 4 halves plus 9 halves. All I'm doing here is just adding fractions because I have to get rid of this negative 9 halves on this side. 9 plus 4 is 13. Keep your denominator. That is your b. Once you've identified your b and your y-intercept, you're going to write your equation. Y equals m, which is negative 3 halves, that's my slope, x plus 13 halves is my y-intercept. That is my equation. So let's try another one. We have 4, 3, and 2, 4. So I'm going to subtract 4 minus 3 over 2 minus 4. 4 minus 3 is 1. 2 minus 4 is negative 2. So my slope is negative 1 half. I'm going to plug that in to the equation y equals mx plus b. Pick a point, it does not matter which point. 4 equals negative 1 half times 2 plus b. I took the y, plugged it in for y. The slope, plugged it in for the slope. 2, plugged it in for x. I'm only using this point so that b can be the only variable left in this equation. And then I solve for b. Negative 1 half times 2 is negative 1. Add 1 to both sides. My y-intercept is 5. Now I can write my equation. Y equals m, negative 1 half, x plus b, which is 5. That is my equation. While you're working these out, be sure to pause the video so that you can try it, and then hit play so that you can check and make sure you did it correctly instead of just watching me work out the problems. So this is 5 minus 2 over 1 minus 2. 5 minus 2 is 3. 1 minus 2 is negative 1. 3 divided by negative 1 is negative 3. I plug that in. 5 for y equals negative 3 for my slope times 1 for the x. Whichever y I pick, I have to pick the x that goes with that. Negative 3 times 1 is negative 3. Add 3 to both sides. My y-intercept is 8. And therefore, my equation is y equals negative 3x plus 8. Number 9. Y minus y over x minus x. 2 minus 4 is negative 2. 1 minus 3 is negative 2. Negative 2 divided by negative 2 is 1. And I plug that in. 4 for y equals 1 times 3 for x plus b. 1 times 3 is 3. To get b by itself, I have to subtract 3 from both sides. And my y-intercept is 1. Once you have the slope and the y-intercept identified, we have y equals 1 for my slope, x plus 1 for my y-intercept. 1 times x is x. So the equation in the most simplified form is y equals x plus 1. And for number 10, 6 minus 2 over 3 minus 3. 6 minus 2 is 4. 3 minus 3 is 0. When I have a fraction that has a 0 in the denominator, that is an undefined number because you cannot have 0 in the denominator. If your slope, if you do not find a constant rate of change or your slope is undefined, then this cannot be a function. However, it does still have an equation. For both pairs, 3 is the x for both ordered pairs. So if x is 3, then x equals 3. Doesn't have a slope, so I cannot write it in slope-intercept form, but I can name this equation. This equation is x equals 3. The same thing if you look at number 4. You have negative 2 for y, negative 2 for y. The equation would be y equals negative 2. Because for this one, you're going to get a slope of 0 because negative 2 minus negative 2 is 0. 4 minus 1 is 3. 0 divided by 3 is 0. No matter what I plug in for x, 0 times x would be 0. So that would leave me with just y equals negative 2. For number 5, you can see the same thing, that 3 is the same. If the x coordinate repeats, it's not a function, but I can give it an equation because for these two ordered pairs, x is 3, so the equation would be x equals 3. Play the video again, rewatch these examples. Remember that it's y minus y over x minus x. Once you identify the slope, pick one point, plug it into y equals mx plus b. Solve for your b. When you know your m and your b, then just write your equation. Y equals whatever the slope is, x, plus whatever you've identified as the y-intercept. If you have questions, let me know. And feel free to check out Google Classroom for more helpful videos over linear functions.